Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode. I really wanted to record this episode because I know the job market has been really hard for a lot of people. I also know people are worried about their jobs because there's been a lot of layoffs, there's been a lot of redundancies, but I want to rewind this conversation. We've had this conversation a long time ago. If you're new here, you may not have listened to that episode, but we had an episode. It's in the, I think, negotiation series, and it's called Becoming Hard to Replace. And I talked about how you can become hard to replace. And in this episode, I want to talk about being hard to replace. I want to talk about this again, becoming hard to replace, already being hard to replace, knowing when you're hard to replace, because some people don't even realize that they fall into that category. So I want to talk about this because it's something that's super underestimated. Especially in this current climate. There is no such thing as job security. However, the harder you are to replace, the easier it will be for you to hold on to great jobs when you have them. The less likely it is that when there's a restructure, you'll be the one out the door. I'm not saying that it won't still happen, but I'm saying let's increase your chances of it not happening. Let's increase your chances of securing a new job in this climate and not losing that job. Listen, companies go under, businesses close. You can't control that. But you can control what you bring to the table, the reputation you build, and how hard it is for you to replace. Because even if your company was to close or you was to be made redundant, when you are that person that's hard to replace, when you are that person that people rely on, they will put in a good word for you. They are the ones that talk to their network about you. They are the ones that are mentioning your name in rooms that you are not in, which helps you get offers. I've been able to get offers that way. I've been able to walk into roles because of what I've done at a previous job. So let's get into it. Let's just get straight into it. Being decent at your job is not the same as being great at your job. Like, you can be good at your job, you can be decent at your job, but that's not the same as being great at your job. The difference between the two is what makes you hard to replace and what makes getting the money you want a lot easier. It makes negotiating easier. It makes asking for what you want in an interview a lot easier. It makes getting the yes easier. Like, the difference might sound small. The difference between good and great might sound small, but there's an ocean between the two. And being great at your job is not just about the work you produce. So when we're talking about being hard to replace, I am not talking about being amazing at the job that they pay you to do, because they pay you to be good at that job. That's what we're supposed to be doing. It's not just about your work. And don't get me wrong, being good at your job is very, very important if you want it to be harder to replace you. But it's also about the relationships you build across departments. Who knows you? Who likes you? Who talks you up when you're not even around? Who are these people? Sometimes just a small chit-chat, friendliness in another department is what can help your name be in rooms. Never underestimate likability. I'm definitely doing an episode on that, but never underestimate how far likability can get you in this corporate world. We all know a Nepo baby or someone who has got a job just because they're liked, not because they're good at their job. Let's be real. So I'm definitely going to do an episode on this, but relationships, the relationships you build across departments also are what make you great at your job. Because if you make other people's day better, you don't think you're the type of person that they're going to want to keep around. If you don't make other people's life easy, you don't think you're the type of person that they want to keep around. It's also about your ability to support those functions, not just the one you work in. Now, this is something I see in real top talent, that whenever there's a restructure, they seem to always be lucky and not necessarily be in the removal. When there's a layoff, they seem to somehow miss the layoff. And even if there is a layoff and they get laid off, they somehow land a role in another department. they somehow still stay with the company because the company doesn't want to lose them. That's how you know you're hard to replace, because they don't want to lose you. So they will try and find you a job anywhere else, because you've built that reputation in your department and across other departments. Do you support other functions? Like, just because you do a job and you're good at a job, like, for example, I've worked with someone, she is good in all the departments. She sometimes helps the other departments and reminds them of what the things they need to do. And if they're busy, will quickly help them out if her work is done. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here telling you guys, oh, do all your work and then do everyone else's. Absolutely not. I'm saying, if you got 2 minutes and someone else is struggling, do you help someone in another department? If you knew the answer, for instance, I've worked across different industries. You guys know this. I understand compliance and things like DBSs and stuff like that from when I worked in childcare. If I can help someone else out on a compliance team who's not done that before, I will. If I can advise on something, I will. That not only builds the relationship, but they're like, oh my gosh, when I need something, I can just go to Adele. Again, I'm building a reputation of being hard to replace, because not only am I good at my job, I'm good at all the jobs. Now, listen, I'm great at my job. I master my skill set. I master what I'm good at. I don't want to be a jack of all trades. However, in some ways I do, because I want to master something outside of my mastery, outside of my zone of genius. There are also small areas that I'm also good at. I want to be good in those other departments. Again, makes me memorable, and it makes them think twice before they replace me, because it's like, oh, who else would we go to if she wasn't here? That's what you want people to ask the question. When you're not in, are people from your department and other departments like, oh my gosh, you weren't in the other day and this happened. I wish you were here because I know you'd have been able to sort it out. I've got a few questions for you. Amazing. You are hard to replace. I promise you, your name is being mentioned in rooms where senior decision makers are, managers are, bosses are, because you are hard to replace. Think about likability and networking with the right decision makers. Are you doing that? Like, are you putting yourself in front of the decision makers? Are you talking to senior management? Are you talking to your boss's boss? Are you talking to your boss? Are you talking to your peers, people that you work with, like your colleagues? Are you networking with all the right decision makers, not only in your company, but externally? Remember, we're not all going to stay in the same company for 10, 20, 30 years. Like, for most of us, those days are done. So you're going to move jobs at some point. Listen, build your network internally and externally. Internally, because those people will also move on. And one day they might be at a company that they can help get you into that you're really interested in working for. Maybe they'll own a company that you'll one day want to go and work for. Who knows? But your paths might cross again. I've crossed paths with a lot of people that I've either interviewed 10 years ago, or that I've worked with before, or that have, like, I've worked for them before and now we've crossed paths again. Like, understand how important some of these relationships can be internally, but as much as the external ones that you build. Don't just show up on LinkedIn when you're ready for a job. Continue to build your brand, continue to build your reputation. I'm not saying make it a full-time job. You're not a content creator. I'm not asking anyone to be a content creator, but I'm saying every now and then check in with network. Go to networking events if that's your thing. Listen, I'm an introvert. I don't really go to networking events. Might jump on something online, but I'm not really a pick myself up and go to an event unless someone invites me and I go with them, or unless I can bring one of my friends as a security blanket, because that's just how it is. But keep your networking up. Like, we can do all this stuff online now. You don't have to be in person. You can have virtual coffee chats. I do that a lot. Like, people reach out to me a lot and we have virtual coffee chats. I get to know what they do. They get to know what I do. And it's just a nice way to open up your network. Also, when I have these chats with people and I like them and I get a vibe for them, if a job comes up that I think that they might like, or if an opportunity comes up, I literally will just reach out to them. I'll message them because they'll be top of mind, because I'll be like, oh yeah, I spoke to that person the other day and they're a food inspector. Or, oh my gosh, I spoke to that person like a year ago or something and she did content creation and she was really nice and I really liked her. I'll speak to them. This is what you should be doing in your job as well. Internally, like I said, and externally. Are you talking to the right people? Are you talking to the decision makers? Are you networking? These things will, again, make you hard to replace because you're memorable. You're top of mind when opportunities come out. The other thing is not only knowing other departments, because that's all well and good. You're never going to know other departments as well as you know yours. But do you know complex areas of your role? Like, I know a lot of people that literally do their job description. That's great. But when there's a problem, when there's an issue, then they don't necessarily know the complex areas or care to find out. They're like, oh, I've heard people say this all the time, it's above my pay grade. That's nice. It's not above mine, because I'm going to be hard to replace. I'm going to make sure I can get more than that rubbish 2 or 3% pay rise when we do the yearly salary reviews. And the reason I've been able to do that through my career, and I've been able to have pay rises twice a year, maybe even 3 times a year, depending on what's going on and what I've achieved and what I've delivered, is because I understand complex areas of my role. I understand the parts of my role that sometimes other people struggle with. And I've done that on purpose because it is great to know my job, but it is even better to know as much detail as possible. So that when, like again, when a problem arises, I can assist. It's having that knowledge like an encyclopedia. Like I've worked with people like this who they know so much about the role, the account, the business, the program in and out that everyone has to utilize them when things go wrong. New people, old people, they'll be calling saying to you, do you remember this? Like, I know you usually remember all these things. Like, do you remember when this happened? Or there was this contract in place. Do you remember who put it in place? Or do you remember why we do this or why we do that? Because maybe someone new started and some of the knowledge has been lost. But you're like the business encyclopedia. You know everything. Why? Because you speak to the right people, you put yourself in the right places, you listen to the right conversations, and you've made sure that you understand complex areas of your role. So you become the encyclopedia of that business area. And for anyone who's young and is listening to this episode and is like, Adele, what's an encyclopedia? Firstly, go on Google. You'll know. We had to use encyclopedias when we was young because we didn't have Google and all these things. I had a book, and if I wanted information, whether it was for an essay, for school, whatever, if I just wanted to know something, I would have to go in there. And you had encyclopedias and they all had like from A to B, B to C, like there was loads. That's how we got our information. So if you want to know, if you want to be knowledgeable and you're not going to be like an encyclopedia, be like Google. So for anyone who's younger, be like Google. For us older people, be an encyclopedia. Know the ins and outs. When things go wrong or they need key information, are you the person that they go to? And if you're not, can you become the person they go to? Are you doing enough of your due diligence? Are you doing enough work to understand what is really going on in your department, in your business area, in your program, whatever it is you do? Are you doing enough? Have you got history on what you do? Why do you do things? Listen, I have a personality where I'm just like, tell me what to do, I'll get it done. I don't always ask why. Not in that moment. I'll just get it done. But I will always look back and try and understand why. Why do we do things? How do we do things? Why do we not do some things one way and we do them another way? I want to know the ins and outs. Firstly, because it helps me, because then I can help fix processes. Listen, if you fix issues and processes, you become hard to replace. We'll go on to that in a minute. However, I like to know all the information so I have the background on what I'm doing. And having the background sometimes makes the job much easier because you know why you're doing something. So it makes much more sense. When someone comes to you to ask you questions, you can answer them really easily because you have the detailed information. You're not just doing, you're understanding. Again, I want to remind everyone listening to this episode, no employee is irreplaceable, but you can make it hard for them. These things that I'm talking about is how you make it hard for them. You know your company inside out. Listen, on top of that, you know your boss inside out. Do you know how many staff I've had that have basically managed me, even though I'm the manager, or tried to manage me? They'll be like, Adele, I've done X, Y, Z. I just need you to do this last bit. Please, can you have a read and get it done so that I can do this? Love that. Love a bit of initiative. Love when you get your bit done without having to tell you, and you've used your initiative and now you're telling me to get my work done. Listen, I'm the boss and you're telling me to get my work done. Okay, cool. You move that quickly that I'm behind you. Okay, cool. I respect it. I respect it because I was that person before I was the manager. I was that person. I always was the person trying to deliver above, against all my targets. Whatever my KPIs were, whatever my targets were, I wanted to deliver above and beyond, because then you're going to think twice about removing me from the job if, say, there has to be a restructure. Remember, I'm from a HR background, so I have helped restructure 2P people, do all these things. When there's a restructure, there might be like 10 people up for losing their job, and there's only 2 roles. I'm going to be one of those people that gets one of those 2 roles. I promise you. Why? Because they're going to think twice. Yes, there's a process, and you have to go through interviews, you have to answer questions. But guess what? If you know the complex part of your program, if you're the encyclopedia for your business, your answers when you have to re-interview for your job are going to be way better than someone who's just good and just does their every single day job. I promise you. I've seen it when I've interviewed candidates. The people that know the ins and outs of everything and can answer questions at a really high level are always the people that are the hardest to replace. They're always the people that everyone goes to for every little thing. They tend to be the people that end up getting burnt out a lot. And I'm not promoting burnout, so we're not going to be on the side of burnout. We're going to be on the side of strategy at all times. Because if you know what you're doing, you'll do it. Some people are hard to replace by accident. They're just doing it to do it. I'm always trying to show you guys how to work smarter, not harder. Remember, you have to work hard first to lay the foundation and then you can work smart. But I'm always trying to show you guys how we do that, how we get to that point. So again, let's get back into the list. Preempt problems and solve them. Always go to your boss with solutions, not problems. Always. If you have identified a process issue and gaps in service, especially things that save or make your company money, go to your boss with a solution. Say, I've noticed this and I was thinking this. Not, oh, this doesn't work. That's nice. Okay, I'll go and fix it then. That don't make you hard to replace. When I've got someone on my team who's like, Adele, I noticed that this was glitching, so I've gone to the tech team or I've gone to this team and I've spoken to them about X, Y, Z. I thought I'd come to you because is there anything you would want to add or is there anything extra you want me to do? Do you know how much your boss is relieved when you've already taken something off their plate? Do you know how much your boss is now going to talk about you in other rooms to other bosses, to other directors, to other people, because they're always going to be like, oh my gosh, this person on my team is amazing. Are you that person? Or are you always the person that's like, yeah, this is too hard. I can't be bothered. Cool. Then guess what? They can't be bothered to keep you when it comes to restructures. They can't be bothered to keep you when it comes to redundancies. Guys, I'm not saying redundancy is ever anyone's fault. I was made redundant in 2022, so we're not going to go down that route. I understand that. Yeah? Every person can be replaced. No one is irreplaceable, including me. I have been made redundant, so I'm not going to pretend and sit here like, oh, doing all this means it's bulletproof. But it's as close to bulletproof as you will get. Doesn't mean it's bulletproof. But me being the way I was meant that I had built a reputation for myself even after I got made redundant. That reputation surpasses me, which helps me when I go back into the market and I'm networking with people that I've been networking with. And I'm like, oh, do you remember we spoke last year? Or remember we spoke 6 months ago? I wasn't looking then, but I'm currently looking now. If you hear about anything, let me know. It makes my life easier. I have a reputation. Oh, Adele's really known at her last company for doing X, Y, Z. Because guess what? Even the people you work with internally, they have their own networks. And you could be someone they're speaking about and you don't even realize. I've had someone say to me, oh my gosh, I've heard about you. Did you ever work with blah, blah? And I've been like, yeah. And they've been like, yeah, he used to talk about you all the time. He used to always say there was this girl I worked with called Adele. That's what you want. That's what makes you, when you're hard to replace, this is what happens. Your name is in everyone's mouth. And that's exactly where you want it to be for positive reasons. You never want to be in everyone's mouth for the negative reasons. Guys, you know who you are. You don't want to be in people's mouth for negative things. You want to be in people's mouth for positive things. So are you going to the boss with solutions? Are you thinking ahead? Are you like, your boss is giving you a task and you're like, I can already see a gap in that and there's a problem. I'm not telling you to bring it up in front of everyone and try and embarrass your boss. No, but I am saying, can you drop them a quick email? Can you go and have a quick conversation and say, I know you want us to do this, but previously when we did X, Y, Z, or I actually think because of the way the system works, this might happen. I was thinking, why don't we try this? But obviously I'm more than happy to do it your way, but I just wanted to make this quick suggestion. Or you go and do it, the thing that you think is going to happen happens, and then you go with a solution. Either. But make sure you're helping people solve problems. Not just, oh, but that's not part of my job. Babes, how do you think people become leaders? You don't just wake up and someone gives you a manager job. You probably were solving problems, supporting staff, motivating teams way before anyone offered you a manager's job. Because you was already the problem solver. The things you complain about most in your job could be things that you help to fix that get you part-time hours with full-time money. And if you've listened to that episode where I talk about how I got part-time hours and how I was able to negotiate that on full-time money, one of the things was everything I deliver, everything I bring to the table, streamlining processes and being hard to replace. Something's not working, Adele, can you help? This system or this process is too long. We need to get it down from 5 days to 4 days. Where's Adele? Oh, guess what? Adele was able to do that in the HR department. Marketing, why don't you have a quick call with her and try and book in a Teams meeting with her? Guys, become hard to replace. When you leave, what you want, when you leave any job, this is the legacy you want to leave. You don't want to be the person where everyone's complaining and saying, oh my gosh, she's left all her work half done. You want to be the person who's like, oh my gosh, we miss her. Oh my gosh, come back. I've gone back. There was one company I went back to 3 times. We're not going to speak about that because from my point of view, I didn't learn my lesson the second time. I needed 3 times to learn my lesson. However, the reason that company wanted me back so many times, like the second time they headhunted me, they wanted me back, was because I was hard to replace. You thought it was going to be easy. I left and you were like, cool, like, bye. And then what, a year later, less than a year, you were like, oh, Actually, we've got this other role that we think you might be interested in. Why? I'm hard to replace. I make a point of being hard to replace. Guys, it's always strategy, it's always planning behind everything I do. I'm always thinking 2 moves ahead. I'm not thinking about the job I'm currently doing. I'm thinking about how is it going to help me leverage for the next job, because nothing is permanent. The world has taught us that. If the last 5, 6 years have not taught you that, then I don't know what to tell you. Again, no one is irreplaceable, but making yourself hard to replace, making it hard for your company to replace you, is what's going to help you hold on to a great job, is what's going to help you hold on to great money, is what's going to help you negotiate even more money. Because listen to this, they do not want to have to advertise and train someone new and jump through all these hoops when they could just give you a little bit more money. Do you know how much it costs to advertise? Do you know how much it costs when you hire someone, train them, they're no good, and then you've lost all that money because you've been paying them the whole time they were there? Do you know that if I've got someone who's amazing, it's probably easier to give them the money? And yes, sometimes getting higher salaries internally is a lot harder than if you just shift jobs. Everyone knows that. When you leave a company, sometimes it is much easier to get the massive pay rise, the 30, the 40, the 50K pay rises. But guess what? There are some companies that will give people internally those pay rises because it is easier to pay you 15K more than it is to waste all that money on advertising and all the other stuff that comes with training someone new to put in place when, because you were hard to replace, the person they find will be able to do the job maybe, but they won't be able to do all the extra things that you do. And this is why I said to you, do you know how to do more than just your job? Are you able to support on smaller things? Are you willing to help and support on smaller things when you have time and within reason? Because again, we don't give our services just for free. But when it is a strategic move and it is going to help me be able to negotiate in the future, oh yeah, I can stay an extra 10 minutes to help you out. I can help you put that presentation together. I can take a look at that for you and give you some feedback. Absolutely. Oh, of course I don't mind. So think about being hard to replace. It will make opportunities easier to come by. It will make salary and negotiating easier to happen. It will also mean that if the inevitable happens and you do get made redundant or you do get made, you are laid off, you are able to leverage everything you've done because people are speaking about you. You are able to connect with people and they want to help you. Can you imagine what it's like if you get made redundant and your boss at your current company where they're making you redundant is like, how can I help you get another role? They start speaking to their network. They start offering you help and assistance. Do you know what that feels like? It's an amazing feeling. I promise you that. So like I said, we can't stop certain things happening to us. We can't. But we can make it really hard for them to happen to us. So yeah, I just wanted to rewind this conversation because this is definitely something I work with my clients on. It's definitely something I've spoken about before. And it's something that I think people don't even think about when they're thinking about their jobs and they're thinking about, oh, I tried to negotiate a salary and it was really hard. You stop feeling that hardness when you've got so much to negotiate with. You're like, listen, who else is making you this sort of money? Who else is saving you this sort of money? Who else has done the things I've done in such a short period of time? Like when you've got all your receipts, because you're hard to replace, makes a difference. When people are talking about you in rooms that you're not even in, you become hard to replace because people know your name even before you've gotten your first conversation with them. They're like, oh my gosh, blah, blah, told me about you. I've heard great things. Amazing. That's what I want. I want you to hear great things because I want you to remember when it's time for restructures and layoffs and redundancies, I was the one being talked about. Who was the one helping you do all the things? And I know sometimes it can be really hard if you feel like you're the one who does all the things and then you're still not respected or seen and you're still easily passed over. Remember, it's not about doing all the things. It's always about doing all the right things. And during this episode, we've spoken about the right things. You can take on all the projects in the world, but if they're not projects that move the needle, and I'm a reminder of what moves the needle, you make money, you save money, you make a process better, like you make it more efficient, you upskill a team. If it doesn't fall into these categories, you improve a process, you improve IT. Like if it doesn't fall into one of these categories, you make a company legally compliant and you make sure you save the money because I don't know, you help them not lose a tribunal, whatever it is. Think about it. If it doesn't fit into one of those categories, then it's just busy work. And there is a lot of work in a company that's busy work. I'm not saying that you're not going to sometimes have to do here and there, but be strategic with what you take on. Don't do all the things. because you're doing all the things for no recognition when you could be doing one or two of the right things and getting all the recognition. I hope this episode helps someone, whether it's in your current job or you're about to start a new job. Set that foundation for those first 90 days if you're in a new job. Go ahead and go and listen to the first 90 days. Even if you're currently in a job, you know what? Go and listen to that episode, because you can make your next 90 days the best 90 days. And you can use that as leverage to go forward. So if you haven't listened to that episode about what to do in your first 90 days, go back and listen to that episode. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I will speak to you in the next. Bye. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.